Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sergeant Alex here, and there's a little farm from a previous episode. And today I'm bringing you a little something different from the norm stuff. And I'm going to do a couple of videos on how to do a ship. Now, keep in mind, this is just the little thing that I've come up with. And the best way I figured it out so far is you want to figure out your frame and then build it. So right now you see me mapping out where I want the general middle of the ship to be, and the notes and stuff for the frame I'm using, etc., will be on DeviantArt. And the frame I'm using is pretty much I'm outlining it in logs, as you can see here. And since the ship is floating, it's going to be a little different from a normal ship. I have those 4 little bumps, 2 on each side, that I'm going to be using to attach a balloon to in a later episode. If you notice in the background, there's a previous ship there. There's a few times where I fly over there to show it off. And right now, you just get a little time lapse of me going around with the frame, and I can't give a block by block tutorial on this one because every ship is going to be different. But I'm going to try and highlight what I think are important parts to making a ship. And the first part is one, it's a very large build, so you want to be careful on your blocks. Double, triple check stuff. Make sure your symmetry is good. And if something doesn't look right, don't be afraid to change it up a little. Or leave it there and come back for it at a later time. And I'm almost done here doing the top portion of the ship. And the front of it's going to be changing. It's just a general outline for me. And now you see me get into the bottom part of the ship and just marking out where that curve is going to be. And there have been a lot of trials on this. I've played around in Excel for a bit, trying to figure out the shape I want. I've built a few test models, and this is just generally what I use. There's other types of ships out there with more realistic shapes I'll go with. This is just one that I came up with that I tend to like a little more. And I've already messed up, and I'm realizing it now. I'm double checking my measurements and stuff. And I miss a little section of 3 and 2 there, so there's a 3, there's 2 that I can do my corner piece. Once I figure that out, I just grab wooden planks. For this one, I'm using the regular oak ones. And one thing I'm going to be flying over to look at my ship now is how I did the actual bottom of the ship. And one thing you definitely want to know is if you're going to have it submerged underwater, don't do the half slabs or planks there because you're going to get those weird little air block things going on. But since most of the ship is going to be out of the water, I'm going to be using half slabs and stair pieces upside down to kind of give it the right curvature. And for this video, I'm just going to be doing the hull, and then I'll tackle other pieces as it comes along. I'm not sure what the time is going to be for it. I imagine the top part of the ship is going to be a relatively shorter video. But once you figure out your main shape, you just want to work with each section and adjust as you go. I mean, as the bottom part of the ship is curving a little bit, I'm bringing it up 1 block. And there's sections where I have to remove a layer or add a layer. You can see me here just doing the stairs, getting that nice little curve going on. And one of the tough things about doing a ship is trying to get it where you have actual room to place stuff. With the little design I'm doing here, I concentrate more on the bottom and wall section, and then I try and put a little curve into there. And I think overall it comes out pretty nice. I have plenty of room to do stuff on the floor. I can do multiple decks. And as I'm finishing up the hull, I think would now be time to pop in with that building I stopped at around the 25-second mark. And that is just for the whole point of this map is to have fun and build stuff and show some neat different designs. And one thing I am thinking of is pulling in other people. So I figured one would be kind of nice to give them a little place in that building to decorate. Here's a little 10x10 room decorated as you see fit. And possibly adding like their own towns and such, or just buildings to go along with the map. I am still hashing the details out in my head, and if I do decide to invite people, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but One thing that is for sure, they're gonna have to have the Xbox One version of Minecraft, because that is what I use on for recording my videos. And there you see me, I finished the first little bump, and I'm just copying the design over to the second one. And I just wanted to curve into the ship. And each one of these little bumps is going to be like a main support for holding the balloon in place. That is making the ship float. And the ship is there because I'm not sure what that building is actually going to be called or what not. But it's delivering something to it. And here's one of the more trickier parts I just started doing, and that is the actual front end of the ship, where everything starts moving in block by block. And the best way I can say do this is do a couple blocks on the bottom, do a couple blocks on the top, go back and forth, and as you go along, you'll start to see the curve, and you should be able to figure out in your own head on how you should be doing this. And mostly it's trial and error. So there's a lot of zooming out to double check things, and in Minecraft it's hard to get that curve feel going on, but I think for the most part I got a nice little look going on with this ship. You definitely remember how you place blocks, and there is the quick little flyby front. And now I'm just gonna start finishing up the little front part with the curvature and stuff. I'm just adding the dark oak stairs to kind of make the bottom part of the ship look nice, matching the color of the wood. And I'm just taking half slabs and upside down stairs and stuff, and playing around with that to try and get a nice little look going on. So it's not as blocky. And one of the harder parts when you're doing this is to make sure that everything matches nice and perfect. So if you have a general idea, like, okay, if I have to place 3 stairs, I'm going to do 2 and then have a curved one, or do 2 stairs and a half slab, something like that, and you should be pretty much all set with that part. Okay, so I now have the front done. I'm happy with how it looks. And just thinking, and now I'm just going to extend out the back section, which I am going to do it a little differently. I think instead of doing a 3 and 4 on the upper part of the walls, I do 2, 3. I do, I take 1 block from the top section and move it back. So there we are, and it's 1 block higher than the than the rest of the ship. And that's just changing up to make a little bit of a better curve, in my opinion. And the back of the ship is a lot easier to do than the front of the ship, because I feel that the curve you're doing is a lot more straightforward and strong. And as I'm going along, since I have a good idea on how I want to do the ship, you're seeing me put the stairs and half slabs in. And overall, building the hull is a time-consuming build. I think just this hull here took me about 45 minutes, maybe 50. And after I did all my cuts and editing, we got to the 11 minutes we see here. And now I'm starting the second set of little bumps in the ship. And I think I do make some changes to how the hull looks. On here, I cut a little section out just to integrate this more and make it look more natural instead of like, oh, I forgot about it and just slapped it on. Yeah, I think this is the part where, yep, it'll leave some spots for blocks. And I'm not sure how I'm actually going to attach a little balloon to the ship. It's still a work in progress in my head. But the end result for it I am happy with. And that's pretty much it without the back done. I'm just going along adding some blocks to where there's some room for them. And I'm just bringing the back of the ship down a couple of blocks. And then I do the next layer where I bring it in one. I'm using the stairs and half slabs for that. Put a line of wood in there. And I start laying out for the bottom, figuring out what I want it to look like, how I want it to curve. And then just going back and adding stairs and making sure it matches, which is pain in the butt after a while, I do have to say. But overall, I think ships look really neat for Minecraft. And I don't see a wrong way of doing them. It's just that as you get on a larger scale, they get harder and harder and harder. But that is the finished back. I don't like how that wood is sticking out there, so I just extend the ship down some more and then match everything up. And overall, I'm happy with how the ship looks. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you have any ideas for the ship, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. I'm just double checking everything in my ship, and that's pretty much what the inside of the hull looks like. Off camera, I am going to add the deck, though. I just want to mention that. I'm going to use spruce, I think. Okay, and that is going to be it for this episode. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I love reading your comments, so please comment anything. It could be about the cats, about future episodes, about something you would like to see on the channel, anything. Other than that, this is Sergeant Alex, and I hope you have a nice day.